Before people in Boston get to choose a new mayor, they have to fill seats in the U.S. Senate and the State House. And to help carry out special elections in April, May, and June, the city needs some more poll workers, especially if they're bilingual. To tell us what's required is a representative from the Boston Election Department, Mary Stevens. Thank you very much for being with us, Mary. Before we get to the poll workers, talk about what the voters need to know, because a couple of these elections are party primaries, so you have to be lined up in a particular party if you're going to vote, I guess.
Absolutely. We have a few special elections coming up. It's a very busy election year in Boston. The ones coming up the soonest is on April 30th, which is going to be the race for senator and Congress, as well as the 1st Suffolk Senate District. What happens in party primaries is you're given a ballot based on what you're registered as. So for instance, if you're a registered Republican, when you check in at the polls, you'll be given a Republican ballot. So therefore, depending on what candidates are running in the primary, you'll only be given a certain amount of choices as to what ballot you can grab. If you're registered as unenrolled, you have the choice of choosing whichever ballot you wish to. The deadline to make changes for the upcoming election is actually coming up very soon on April 10th.
And by the way, what if you haven't registered yet, or at least registered at your current location?
The deadline is the same. We always encourage people. You can either call up the election department or look online on the City of Boston's website to see if you're currently registered. It causes a lot less of a hassle on election day if you make sure of that in advance. So, for instance, if you're registered in Brockton beforehand, you don't have to return to Brockton coming up. You can vote closer to your own home.
Of course, everybody in the city and the rest of the state gets to vote for U.S. Senate, but for the 1st Suffolk District in the State Senate, this is all of South Boston, all of Dorchester, and I guess parts of what, Hyde Park, Mattapan? And
yes, it is South Boston, the majority of Dorchester, Hyde Park, and Mattapan, as you said. And you can also check that information whether or not you're located within one of those districts by contacting our office.
And the other special election coming up first with the primaries is to fill the seat just vacated by Marty Walls. She was from the Back Bay, and the district, I guess, has also parts of Beacon Hill, West End.
And small parts of Fenway. That election's coming up on May 28th.
We'll talk about the poll workers you need. First of all, any rough idea about how many people you're looking for?
Well, for the last election in November, which was obviously a very large election, we hired over 1,800 people, so the need for poll workers is immense. These are still large elections that we have coming up this year, so we'll still need around 1,600 people to staff all 254 of our locations. We have a lot of regulars who come back every time, but because there are so many elections this year, it's put sort of a strain on our election worker pool, since people might not have as much of an availability to take all these dates off.
So you show up on the election day, but I guess there might be some training before this?
Yes, there's a 2-hour training that we have all of our staff do beforehand that we hire to work on election day, and it's great because it's paid as well, as is the actual position on election day, and it kind of gives you a rough idea of what questions you might face on election day, as well as what to expect from the voters and what your responsibilities will be.
So who would be eligible to take one of these positions?
To be eligible to be a poll worker, you have to be at least 18 years of age, and you have to be registered in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as a voter.
And talking about getting bilingual poll workers as well, for example, which languages are you looking for help with?
We're always looking for Spanish-speaking individuals, as well as Chinese, Vietnamese, Russian, Haitian Creole, Portuguese, Cape Verdean, and we have an emerging population of Somali speakers, so we are starting to hire Somalian interpreters as well.
Any idea about why people would sign up for this? I mean, I guess one reason is they get a little money, right?
Yes. There's a stipend anywhere from $135 to $175 for the day. It's untaxed, another up. A lot of people who sign up to work, they're just naturally interested in politics. They like the voting practice. We love candidates for poll workers who have a strong voter history because it shows they're invested in the process. It's a great way to learn more about your community, to be more appreciative of the voting process, as well as you meet a lot of great people throughout the day. So there's a little something for everyone.
Now, a lot of this job is fairly mechanical. A voter comes in, you check their name from a list and everything, but I guess every now and then you have these complications, so I guess poll workers have to deal with that as well.
Yes, one of the main functions besides, checking people off the book and actually helping to set up the polling location and break it down in the morning and the night is some voters, as we were talking about before, how it's important to update your voter information. If you come across someone, for instance, who's not listed in the check-in book, they then contact us at the election department and we're able to verify a voter's information to guide them in the right direction. So poll workers are there to assist the voters in making it as easy as possible to vote.
So if anybody wants to get involved and help out, what's the best way for them to follow up on that?
The best way to follow up is first to apply. They can either call our office at the election department. Our number is 617-635-3767. Or we also have applications that you can download right on our website, which is on the city website under the elections section.